In today's English lesson, I'm going to tell you two stories. One of the stories will be true, the other story will be a lie, and you'll need to try and figure out which one is which. I like English lessons like this because as an English learner, you really need to understand each story in order to make a decision. So I'll tell you two stories about me. One will be true, one will be a lie. Are you ready? Story number one. Let's call this story The Kite. Once when I was a kid, my mom's uncle visited us from the Netherlands. He flew over on a plane and he came to visit us here on the farm. And he brought gifts. He brought gifts for me and my brothers and sisters. We were very, very excited. The gift that I received was a kite, a really cool orange kite. It was really big. It came in a box, and I remember I had to put it together. I had two sticks, and I had to attach all of the strings and the fabric. And when I was all done, the kite was ready to test out. But it wasn't windy on the day I got the kite, so I couldn't go outside with my mom's uncle and try it out. But I do remember putting it all together. It was a really nice looking kite. The next day, my mom's uncle came back for tea or coffee or something, and it was a windy day. So we went outside and we spent some time. He taught me how to fly the kite. I would hold the string and he would go and throw the kite in the air and I would run, and eventually the kite was flying. It was super fun. So I let the kite go really high in the air, and eventually the string broke. And the kite flew away and landed down by the river. I ran down really quickly and I found the kite. Luckily, it wasn't broken. I was very, very happy that it wasn't broken. Then my mom's uncle and I went with my dad to the hardware store and we bought really strong fishing line. Fishing line is something you use with a fishing rod, and it's very thin, but it's very strong. When we came back home, we attached the fishing line to the kite instead of the string that came with it. And then we tried flying the kite again, and it worked way better. I was super happy. It was a fun experience. I flew the kite quite a bit when I was a kid. Lots of fun. I don't know if you've ever had a kite. Anyways, that's story one, the kite. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's a lie? Story number two. Let's call this one basketball. When I was a kid, I really wanted to be on the basketball team at school, but I wasn't a very good basketball player. A lot of my friends lived in town, or they lived in the city, and they could practice basketball all the time, but I lived out here on the farm. There are no really good spots to bounce a basketball, and I didn't have a basketball net. But I really, really, really wanted to play basketball. So my parents got me a basketball, and I would practice in the barn. And eventually they got me a basketball net. They bought me a basketball net, and we mounted it on the wall of the barn. Many, many evenings I would practice shooting the basketball, bouncing the basketball. We also call it dribbling, by the way. I would practice a lot. I would try and get my brothers and sisters to practice with me, but none of them wanted to play basketball with me. So I just practiced by myself. And I got better. I got better and better. And I knew that basketball tryouts were coming up in a few months. So I practiced almost every night of the week. I became really good at dribbling. I became really good at shooting the basketball and getting it in the net. So basketball tryouts came. I signed up on a piece of paper at school that I wanted to try out. I went to the basketball tryouts and I showed off all of my basketball skills as best as I could. And then I waited because I think there were two tryouts. After two tryouts, the coach was going to post the list of who made the team. So I was very nervous. On that day, I remember going to school and I looked at the list and my name was not on the list. I was heartbroken. I was very, very sad. I had spent all this time learning to play basketball and I didn't make the team. So that was story number two. Basketball, do you think it's true or do you think it's a lie? Okay, so you've heard both stories and now you need to decide which one you think is true and which one you think is a lie. If you need to, you can go back and listen to each story again. Maybe you'll hear a few hints in one of the stories that make you think it's either true or that it is a lie. I'll let you think about it for a few seconds here and then I'll tell you which one is which. 1, 2, 3. The story about the kite is true. The story about me trying to learn how to play basketball and make the basketball team, that was just a lie. I know I probably told it in a way where you believed it, but that one was not true. I do remember a time when my mom's uncle came from Holland and he gave me a kite. It was super fun. I had never had a kite before, and so I did a lot of kite flying, I guess you would say. And I do remember that the string broke and we went to the hardware store and bought fishing line to use instead. Anyways, once again, sorry for lying to you. Sorry for telling you a story that wasn't true, but I hope both stories allowed you to learn just a little bit more English. Anyways, if this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button over there. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment about what you thought of this lesson. And if you have some time, why don't you stick around and watch another English lesson.